Welcome to this deep dive, exploring where music and fashion really kind of collide in
Yeah.
Australia specifically.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at some exciting trends like, these capsule collections
Mm.
inspired by album art
Hmm.
to music festivals that are pretty much full-blown fashion events these days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've given us some really fascinating sources about this crossover.
Yeah.
And today we're going to try to uncover like the history, the current trends,
Yeah.
and then maybe even look into the future of this whole dynamic.
This partnership.
Yeah, this partnership.
It's really interesting because, this connection between music and fashion in Australia,
Yeah.
it has deep roots.
Okay.
It goes back decades.
It's not just a recent thing.
Not at all. No.
So let's start with that historical context then.
Sure.
You mentioned it goes back decades. Where should we begin?
Well, I think a good place to start is with the Australian punk rock scene
Okay.
back in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Bands like the Saints, they weren't just making music,
Right.
They were creating a whole visual identity
Yeah.
that really resonated with a whole generation.
Okay.
Their raw energy and that rebellious style,
Yeah.
it influenced this whole wave of fashion subcultures.
So it wasn't just about the music, it was a whole attitude, like
Exactly.
through clothing.
It was an attitude, expressed through clothing.
And did that have any lasting impact on Australian fashion as a whole?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
I mean, the whole DIY ethos of punk,
Yeah.
that kind of trickled up into mainstream fashion.
Okay.
Designers started incorporating, elements of punk style,
Okay.
like ripped denim and safety pins into their collections.
Interesting.
So it really paved the way for, these future collaborations between musicians and designers.
That DIY spirit's a common thread, I feel like, throughout Australian culture.
Yeah.
How did this connection between music and fashion evolve, like
Yeah.
moving into the 90s?
So the 90s brought this explosion of surf rock, and with it brands like Billabong and Rip Curl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's interesting is those brands became synonymous with the surf rock lifestyle.
Totally.
They weren't just clothing brands. They represented a whole culture.
It's more than just slapping a logo on a t-shirt, right?
It's
It's like they became part of the music's DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
And that close relationship that you're talking about
Yeah.
between fashion and music.
Yeah.
It continues today, but it's obviously evolved in interesting ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you give us an example?
Well, think of a band like Tame Impala.
Okay.
They're known for their psychedelic sound
Right.
and visuals.
Yeah.
They've collaborated with fashion designers, blurring the lines
Okay.
between their music and their clothing lines.
So artists are becoming more involved on the fashion side of things?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, Tame Impala is a big name.
Mm-hmm.
Is this happening on a smaller scale, too?
Absolutely.
Like, are we seeing this with...
Yeah, this synergy isn't just happening with big names. We're seeing smaller, independent brands
Right.
and underground musicians collaborating.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're bringing a fresh energy
Yeah.
and a very DIY approach
Right.
to this whole creative space.
So it's a very active scene.
Yeah, very much so.
And diverse.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the specific ways that this is playing out? Like, are there any trends we should know about?
Definitely, one of the most prominent trends
Yeah.
is the rise of these capsule collections.
Okay.
And these are like limited edition fashion lines,
Okay.
often born from collaborations between musicians and designers.
Can you give us an example of a capsule collection
Sure.
that really captures this trend?
Well, Flume, the electronic music artist from Sydney,
Okay.
partnered with a local streetwear brand
Go.
to release a collection.
Yeah.
Inspired by his album artwork.
Okay.
It was incredibly successful.
Yeah.
And not just because of Flume's popularity,
Right.
but because the designs genuinely reflected his musical aesthetic.
Yeah.
That limited availability.
Yeah. The limited availability added to the appeal.
That makes sense.
Made it a must-have for fans.
Like literally wearing the music.
Yeah.
Are there any other big trends happening in the scene?
Yeah. Well, music festivals,
Okay.
they've transformed into these significant fashion events.
Yeah.
Designers are creating festival-specific lines,
Right.
and musicians launch exclusive merchandise just for these events.
I've definitely noticed that
Yeah.
they've become like runways.
Absolutely.
Are there any festivals in particular that stand out?
Well, Splendor in the Grass is a great example.
Okay.
It's become this huge fashion event in Australia
Yeah.
with designers and musicians capitalizing on the opportunity to, showcase their creativity.
So attending a festival, it's not just about the music anymore.
Right.
It's this whole fashion experience.
Yeah, for sure.
What other trends are shaping this whole fusion of music and fashion?
Well, the digital world
Okay.
is playing a huge role.
The pandemic
Yeah.
forced many artists to move their concerts online.
Right.
And that led to this rise of virtual fashion.
That's fascinating. Can you explain what virtual fashion is?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
artists started creating avatars
Yeah.
for these virtual concerts.
Yeah.
And those avatars needed clothes, right?
Makes sense.
So designers stepped in
Okay.
to create these unique digital outfits for them.
Okay.
And suddenly the possibilities became endless.
Okay.
You could have a flaming jacket, a dress made of stardust,
Wow.
literally anything you can imagine.
Wow. So fashion entered a whole new dimension,
It did.
unbound by the limitations of like the physical world.
Exactly.
That's a huge shift.
It is.
Is there anything else that really stands out in this Australian scene?
There's one more important element to mention.
Okay.
We're seeing the growing influence of indigenous music and fashion.
Okay.
It's a movement that's gaining international recognition,
Wow.
and for good reason. These collaborations between indigenous designers and musicians
Yeah.
are creating these incredibly powerful statements.
What makes those collaborations so unique?
Well, the designs are visually stunning.
Okay.
They often incorporate traditional motifs and techniques
Yeah.
with contemporary styles,
Okay.
but what really sets them apart is the cultural significance.
Right.
These collaborations are about reclaiming and celebrating indigenous identity
Yeah.
through both music and fashion.
So it's not just about aesthetics.
Exactly.
It's about using fashion and music as platforms for cultural expression
Yes.
and dialogue.
And dialogue, yeah.
To get an even deeper understanding of this dynamic between music and fashion.
Yeah.
We spoke to some of the key players in this world.
Yeah, we did.
Who did you talk to?
Well, we talked to Chloe Adams.
Okay.
She's an incredibly talented Australian designer
Okay.
who has worked with multiple ARIA-winning artists.
Chloe Adams is working with award-winning musicians. What insights did she offer about this intersection of music and fashion?
Well, she talked about her design process being heavily influenced by music.
Okay.
In fact, she said, and I quote,
Okay.
"When I hear a song, I envision colors and shapes.
Wow.
That's how I approach my designs for musicians."
So she's translating sound into visual form,
Yeah.
using clothing as her medium.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
it is.
Do you have a specific example of her work that kind of demonstrates this?
Sure, her collaboration with G-Flip on their tour wardrobe is a perfect example.
Okay.
She captured G-Flip's energetic stage presence
Yeah.
and their unique musical style through these bold, colorful designs
Okay.
that were both visually striking and functional for performance.
So it's a true partnership
Yeah,
where the music and the fashion complement each other.
right.
Did you speak to anyone else?
We did. We also chatted with the indie band Hollow Coves,
Okay.
who took a very conscious approach to their merchandise.
Okay. What was their approach?
They partnered with a sustainable fashion label,
Oh, right.
reflecting their commitment to environmental responsibility.
Sustainability is a crucial issue,
It is.
especially in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
What did they have to say about this partnership?
Well, they saw it as an opportunity to extend their artistic vision
Okay.
beyond the music.
Yeah.
They weren't just creating merchandise.
Yeah.
They were creating wearable art that reflects our music and message,
Wow.
as they put it.
So it's about aligning their values with their products. It's
Yeah.
making a statement about sustainability through their merch. It's clear these collaborations go beyond just aesthetics.
Yeah.
But are there challenges involved in merging these two creative worlds?
So, of course, bringing music and fashion together,
Yeah.
while exciting, can be complex.
What are some of the challenges?
Well, budget is often a significant factor.
Okay.
These collaborations can be expensive,
Yeah.
especially when working with high-profile designers
Right.
or using sustainable materials. Then there are the inevitable creative differences.
Right.
Musicians and designers might have different visions
Sure.
for the final product.
Of course.
And finally, there's the pressure to stand out in a
Yeah.
very crowded market
Yeah.
to create something truly unique and memorable.
Those are all very real challenges.
They are.
It sounds like it takes a lot of trust, communication, and compromise to make these partnerships work.
For sure.
What about the issue of sustainability?
Yeah.
Especially given the criticism both industries have faced,
Yeah.
for their environmental impact.
Right.
Is that something that's being addressed in these collaborations?
Absolutely. The pressure to innovate responsibly
Okay.
and reduce waste is definitely growing.
Okay.
There's a reduce carbon footprints
Yeah.
and create clothing that lasts.
That's encouraging.
It is.
So looking ahead, where do you see this partnership between music and fashion heading?
In Australia.
In Australia.
Well, the future is incredibly exciting,
Okay.
particularly with the rise of the metaverse.
Okay.
This virtual world opens up a whole new realm
Yeah.
of possibilities for creative expression.
Okay.
I think we'll see even more blurring of the lines
Mm-hmm.
between the real and the digital.
Can you paint a picture of what that might look like?
Sure.
Like, how could music and fashion converge in the metaverse?
Imagine attending a virtual concert
Okay.
and having the option to buy a digital outfit for your avatar
Wow.
that's inspired by the artist's music or the show's theme.
Okay.
It's taking band merchandise to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Or picture designers creating these virtual fashion lines
Yeah.
released alongside new albums,
Okay.
offering fans a truly immersive way
Yeah.
to engage with the music.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So fashion becomes another layer of the musical experience.
It does.
Are there any other trends on the horizon you find exciting?
We're also seeing a surge in community-driven initiatives,
Okay.
such as pop-up events,
Okay.
where local musicians and designers collaborate in real time.
Okay.
This creates a vibrant and engaging experience
Yeah.
for both the creators and the audience.
So like a celebration of local talent and creativity.
Yeah.
It seems like the future of fashion and music collaborations
In Australia.
in Australia is bright, innovative,
Yeah,
and full of potential.
absolutely.
It's been fascinating to explore this world with you.
Yeah, it really has. It's a testament to the power of creative collaboration
Yeah.
and the endless possibilities,
Yeah.
that emerge when different artistic disciplines collide.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with a final thought-provoking question to consider.
Okay.
Given the rapid rise of virtual fashion and the metaverse,
Right.
how do you think these collaborations between musicians and designers
Mm-hmm.
will evolve in these digital spaces?
That's a great question.
What new forms of creative expression could emerge?
Yeah.
And how might they impact the fashion and music industries as we know them?
It's definitely something to think about.
We'd like to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely. It is a big question.
Yeah. Thinking back over everything we've discussed,
Yeah.
it strikes me that this intersection of music and fashion
Yeah.
in Australia goes beyond just aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deeper connection
Yeah.
to identity and cultural expression.
You've hit on a key point there. It's about belonging.
Yeah.
It's about self-expression, pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about making a statement, not just through the clothes you wear,
Yeah.
but also through the music you listen to
Mm-hmm.
and the artists that you support.
Exactly. And that brings us back to those indigenous collaborations we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
They're a powerful example of how fashion and music
Right.
can celebrate heritage challenge perceptions and start those important conversations.
Absolutely. They're a testament to the resilience and creativity
Yeah.
of indigenous artists and designers.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing a vital role in shaping the cultural landscape
Yeah.
in Australia and internationally.
It's inspiring to see how they're merging tradition and innovation
Yeah.
to create something truly unique and impactful. I'm curious to learn more about
Yeah.
how indigenous designers are incorporating technology and virtual spaces into their work. Is
Yeah.
that something you've seen?
It's a trend we're starting to see emerge. Some indigenous designers are exploring virtual fashion,
Okay.
creating digital garments and accessories
Huh.
that showcase their cultural heritage in the metaverse.
Interesting.
Others are using 3D printing technology
Okay.
to create contemporary designs,
Mm-hmm.
incorporating traditional patterns and materials.
Okay.
So this fusion of ancient techniques and modern technology
Yeah.
is really quite remarkable.
That's a fascinating blend
Yeah.
of tradition and innovation. It sounds like they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, both creatively and culturally.
Yeah.
Given this focus on cultural expression and sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
are there any concerns that these values might clash with the realities of running a successful fashion business?
That's a valid point. Balancing ethical considerations
Yeah.
with commercial viability is a challenge.
Mhm.
For any designer, especially those working with sustainable practices and
Oh.
traditional techniques, it requires careful planning,
Right.
sourcing and pricing strategies. However, many designers are finding innovative ways
Yep.
to navigate this challenge.
Okay.
They're collaborating with ethical suppliers.
Yeah.
They're educating consumers
Mhm.
about the value of slow fashion
Okay.
and building brands that prioritize transparency and sustainability.
It seems like there's a growing demand for that kind of transparency and
Yeah.
authenticity from consumers,
Definitely.
especially younger generations.
Especially younger generations, yeah.
Do you think this demand is driving this shift
Yeah.
towards more ethical and sustainable practices in the industry?
I believe it's a contributing factor. Consumers, particularly younger ones,
Yeah.
are becoming more conscious of the environmental and social impact of their purchases.
Mm-hmm.
They're seeking out brands that align with their values
Yeah.
and are willing to pay a premium for products that are ethically made
Okay.
and environmentally friendly. And this consumer awareness is putting pressure on brands
Yeah.
to adopt more sustainable practices,
Right.
not just as a marketing tactic,
Yeah.
but as a core value.
That's encouraging to hear, it seems like the fashion industry is starting to take sustainability more seriously.
Yeah, I think so.
Shifting gears a bit, we've talked a lot about the visual aspects of fashion,
Mm-hmm.
but sound plays a significant role
Right.
in creating those immersive experiences,
Right.
particularly at music events.
Yeah.
Are there any trends in sound design that enhance this connection
Yeah.
between music and fashion?
Absolutely. Sound design is becoming increasingly sophisticated
Okay.
and immersive, especially in live music settings.
Okay.
Artists and designers are collaborating with sound engineers
Mm-hmm.
to create soundscapes that complement the visual elements of fashion shows and concerts.
Okay.
They're using spatial audio binaural beats
Yeah.
and other techniques to create these multi-sensory experiences
Interesting.
that really transport the audience.
Okay.
This blurring of the lines between auditory and visual elements
Yeah.
adds another layer of depth
Yeah.
to the relationship between fashion and music.
It sounds incredible. It's like fashion becomes this multi-sensory experience,
Yeah.
not just something you see, but something you feel and hear as well.
Exactly.
This attention to detail and the creation of these holistic experiences,
Yeah.
is that something that's unique to the Australian scene?
Well, the fusion of music and fashion is a global phenomenon.
Okay.
Australia has a distinct approach.
Okay. How so?
Well, the emphasis on DIY culture, the strong connection to nature,
Yeah.
and the celebration of indigenous heritage
Hmm.
all contribute to this unique creative energy
Yeah.
that's evident in these collaborations.
So it's a combination of factors that creates this vibrant and innovative scene.
Yeah, it is.
As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways
Okay.
you want listeners to consider?
Well, I think it's crucial to recognize that this connection between music and fashion
Yeah.
in Australia, it's not just a trend.
Okay.
It's this deep-rooted and constantly evolving dynamic
Yeah.
that shapes the creative landscape.
Okay.
It's a testament to the power of collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
the importance of cultural expression,
Yeah.
and the growing awareness of sustainability in these industries.
That's a great summary. It's about so much more than just clothes and music.
Right.
It's a reflection of cultural values,
Yeah.
artistic innovation, and a growing awareness of our impact on the world.
Yeah.
What other points should our listeners keep in mind? And it's important to remember that this creative energy isn't limited to big names and mainstream trends.
Right.
The independent scene is thriving, with smaller brands and emerging artists collaborating in really exciting ways.
Definitely. And as we've discussed, the digital revolution is opening up
Yeah.
a whole new world of possibilities.
Totally.
Virtual fashion is blurring the lines between the real and the digital,
Yeah.
creating opportunities that we're only just starting to explore.
And we can't forget the impact of Indigenous artists and designers.
Absolutely.
They're not just contributing to the fashion and music scenes.
Right.
They're using these platforms to celebrate their heritage,
Mhm.
challenge perceptions, and advocate for important causes.
Absolutely. Their work is a powerful reminder that fashion and music
Yeah.
are more than just forms of entertainment.
Right.
They're powerful tools for cultural expression and social change.
I think that's a great point to emphasize.
Yeah.
This fusion of music and fashion in Australia isn't just about aesthetics.
Right.
It's a reflection of deeper cultural values,
Uh-huh.
a commitment to sustainability, and a desire to make a difference in the world.
Well said. And as we move further into this digital age,
Yeah.
I think we'll see even more convergence between these creative disciplines.
Okay.
The lines will continue to blur, leading to new art forms and innovative ways to experience both fashion and music.
It makes you wonder if we're not just witnessing a trend,
Right.
but a fundamental shift in how we create and consume art.
It's a possibility, for sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as technology evolves and becomes more accessible,
Yeah.
the barriers between the creator and the consumer are breaking down.
Okay.
We're seeing more collaborative and interactive experiences,
Mhm.
particularly in the virtual realm.
Yeah.
So it's a very exciting time to be a part of these creative industries.
Going through all this research, I was struck by how fashion and music
Yeah.
are almost like two sides of the same coin.
I like that analogy, how...
They both have this amazing ability to transport us to different times and places.
Yeah.
They evoke emotions,
Right?
trigger memories, and help us express ourselves in these unique ways. Think about a song that instantly takes you back to a specific moment in your life, or an outfit that makes you feel confident and empowered.
That's a great point. Both fashion and music have this intangible power
Yeah.
to shape our experiences and become woven into our personal narratives. They're forms of self-expression that can transcend cultural boundaries
Right.
and connect us on a deeper level.
Exactly. And when you combine those forces,
Yeah,
you create something truly special.
you do.
It's more than just the sum of its parts. It's a synergy that elevates both the music and the fashion,
Right.
creating this richer, more immersive experience.
It's like they amplify each other,
Yeah.
creating a resonance that's both powerful and captivating.
Yeah.
It's no wonder musicians and designers are so drawn to collaborating in this way.
Right.
They recognize the potential to create something truly innovative and impactful.
Absolutely. And while this fusion of fashion and music is happening globally,
Yeah,
there's something distinctly special about the energy and innovation happening in Australia.
I agree. Australia has always had this unique creative spirit, this willingness to push boundaries and challenge conventions.
Right.
And that spirit is definitely alive and well
Yeah.
in the way Australian artists and designers are approaching these collaborations.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder.
What if this isn't just a fleeting trend,
Yeah.
but a glimpse into the future of creative expression?
Hmm.
What if the lines between fashion, music, art, and technology continue to blur,
Yeah.
leading to entirely new forms of art and immersive experiences
Yeah.
that we can't even imagine yet?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. The future of fashion and music is brimming with potential.
It is.
It's a future where creativity knows no bounds and where technology empowers us to express ourselves
Yeah.
in ways we never thought possible. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive
Yeah.
into the exciting world where music and fashion collide in Australia.
It's been a pleasure exploring this fascinating topic with you. We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity
Yeah.
and inspired you to keep exploring the ever-evolving world of fashion and music.